God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one bottle.
People say this is funny.
Not Gary Gareth.
Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tickling Podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville.
A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend. Who goes first?
You normally start, yeah.
Okay. You're listening to the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast where each week I, Dave Anthony, read a story from American history to a boy.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about. I'm just going to start plowing through. I'm not going to react anymore. Do it again. Do it again.
You're a boy.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about.
Little tiny boy.
I'm not a tiny boy.
You're a tiny little boy.
I'm
Little boy.
a bad boy.
Do they call you Garrett?
No.
They don't.
Nope. I don't want to do this. I want to do the show that I signed up for. This part I don't care for.
I mean, the problem is,
You're kind of bullying.
yeah.
You know what? Ever since you become a JD Vance guy, you've gotten a little aggressive.
Well, maybe you should join me in Vancetown, where the ladies are chained up and the men are doing what they want. It's freedom. It's freedom, buddy.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good little place you got there.
Yeah. Let's just say right now, thank you, Donald Trump, for picking a fucking lunatic to be your VP.
It's very on brand.
Yeah, it really is. Gareth, we are on Patreon if people want to enjoy videos, and we do weekly politic talks. So we do other stuff like small-ups and quizzes.
Also we also
mailbags.
feed Luke. We feed Luke a bunch of weird snacks, and let me tell you, there's some new ones coming our way.
And there's 10 episodes. I think it's 10 or is it 12 episodes of what we call Van Life, which is a little docu comedy thing that we do about us living in the van on the road.
On the road, you can go there, watch that.
We also have an Apple channel up where you can subscribe to the Apple channel, and you can also get ad-free episodes like you do on Patreon. But then we have
it's
some
called
extra stuff.
The Dollop Plus.
Dollop Plus.
So yeah, if you like the Dollop and you want more Dollop stuff, go there.
Yeah,
there you go. And just be cool about it. Thank you.
Yeah, just be cool about it.
Just be cool about that stuff. Cool, thanks. Enjoy this free episode. Thank you.
There was a guy who, I'm not kidding you, made about 60 comments on Reddit about us having an Apple.
Whatever.
I'm not kidding, about 60. I was like, medication's fine. They have Lexapro.
When does this stop being about the Dollop?
That's it. That's all we got to say, right? We don't have anything else to tell the people.
And that, I believe, is everything. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
We'll be having a little change coming up as far as our videos soon. A new location.
Yeah, we've got.
We should be in the same room more, and it'll be nice. Yeah,
we've got some cool stuff. We bought a closet to live in.
We did buy a closet to live in. No, we can't do that. That's walk in the room.
Never heard of it.
Well, you should have heard of it because you broke it up. 1868, year of our Lord Jesus Cristo, who is also J-Town, who is right now at the Summer Olympics riding his longboard.
It's getting really unlikely.
One of my dogs is barking like he's locked in something.
Is he?
Maybe.
That's walking the room.
Bernarr Macfadden was born on a farm in Mill Spring, Missouri.
Okay.
One of the worst states. I said it. I have an uncle who lives there. He's a crazy Christian.
There's some good parts there. Sure. Missouri?
Well,
I like St. Louis.
Some bad government stuff going on.
Well, listen, if we're going to start knocking people for having bad government,
that's true.
It's kind of game over.
That's a good point. The farm did not make any money, really. His mom had tuberculosis. His father was a drunk who beat him and then died of delirium tremens when Bernard was 4.
Okay.
So he had a good early run. The first 4 were sweet.
No, again, as we've often said, those years are mulligans. You don't need those to go well. If you mess up 1 to 4, you can make it up on 4 to 8. That's right. Just hit one of those 2.
So Bernarr was sickly, scrawny. He was a mama's boy. He got teased and bullied.
Well, to be fair, when your father dies from tremors, you're not going to be a father's boy.
Yeah, people aren't going to. Yeah,
you're not going to be
true.
like.
But also, people aren't going to be like, your dad's awesome, your mom's weird. Also, they're going to bully you.
Yes.
For the whole.
Yes.
Ball of wax.
Yes.
So when he's 7, he ended up bedridden for 6 months after getting blood poisoning from a smallpox vaccination.
Oof. God damn. Mm-hmm. Rogan did a whole episode about that back then, I
think. Yeah, he did. He was sent to a boarding school where other students...
By the way, J.D. Vance wants to put women into boarding schools.
Yes, he does.
About that.
The other students, he said, would have made Oliver Twist look like, quote, dangerously overstuffed. So
see, this is the issue with the boarding school life. Having talked to my father, who is a senior adult, will still hearken back
to the
suffering. Days? Yeah, oh yeah.
Like it's good or like it's bad?
No. Okay. Like, how do I unwind the damage of those days still?
Yeah, particularly the Irish were terrible, but the UK boarding schools not great.
No, it's like a nightmare.
Yeah, a nightmare.
By the way, great for the parents.
Good for the parents.
Not parents are just a hell of a deal.
Well, that's when parents
just be like, you know what? I'm going to do the opposite of the teacher's schedule. I'll do summers.
Yeah,
I'll do summers.
But that's when parents didn't want their kids around. I think parents mostly want their kids around now.
No, see, that's where you kind of lose me in the pitch.
Well, it's like your cat.
No, I'm listening.
Would you send Jose to a boarding school? Okay. Well, there you go.
The lengths I go to make sure that Jose is okay when I'm out of town. I can't even explain it to you.
The closest
I lose cat sitters
the closest to a child you have is Jose. I mean, the reason you have a Jose is because you actually can't bond that way with a human. He was sent to boarding school with the other students would have made Oliver Twist look dangerously overstuffed. Bernard later called it the starvation school, and they were apparently just eating peanuts, shell and all. Peanuts back then were sold as hog food.
Well, I'll tell you what, you come to me at that age and tell me I'm going to live on a diet of peanuts, I ain't mad at you. And the shell eating is not a problem.
Unsalted, unroasted.
The shell's salty. Yeah, that's why
the natural shell is salty is what you're saying? Are you saying that? Are you saying the natural peanut shell out of the ground is salty?
Yes.
We're going to get so many letters from farmers. After boarding school, he lived with distant relatives who ran a Chicago hotel.
Okay.
He would later call, it was a couple, he would later call the woman grotesquely fat.
Okay.
He
seems hard to please. At some point, you got to look in the mirror and be like, is it me?
Well, and they just basically had him there to do work. That's why they brought him on.
Sure.
After a few months there, his mother died.
Okay.
He was now 11 and an orphan.
Jesus.
Bernard said he overheard the woman relatives say, quote, "And if you ask me, this one's going the same way. He's got all the symptoms. Consumption runs in the family."
Oh.
So that's
Is that how consumption worked?
Well, it doesn't run in the family. You could, however, get it from a family member for but
it's not like genetic. Together. So it's not like, oh, he does. Yeah. Okay. So
no,
just really very negative towards the prognosis of him not getting it.
Yeah. And also like 2024 common medical understanding. Are you going to say people have good medical understanding now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a chimp there?
That's my son who is playing video games, who is chimping at his friends.
Okay.
At that point, Bernard now decides to live to spite his relatives. So that's why he's gonna live and do his best to spite.
This I like.
So he's super poor. He has no shoes. He's always being teased for being barefoot.
Sure.
He asked his foster mom to buy him shoes for Sundays.
Only?
Sunday shoes.
So Sunday shoes?
Well, I'm assuming they would be fancy shoes you wouldn't want to wear to school.
Right. But he doesn't have any shoes. Why not get an everyday pair?
I'm not here.
What's the point of a foster mom if you can't have shoes at all?
Well, you get a roof.
Like, what are they providing? Isn't that the whole point of a foster family? I
think a roof and food. They don't have to shoes. This is way outside the.
It is spoiled. Now that I'm hearing myself say it, it is kind of privileged.
Yeah. I mean, just because your parents died doesn't mean you get shoes.
My white privilege keeps showing. I like shoes.
Yeah. So she said no to the shoes.
Obviously. I like to think you presented it like Shark Tank. And she goes, and for that reason, I'm out.
So now at that age, he realized to get what he wanted, he had to be completely independent and rely on nobody.
He's 11.
Yeah, around that, 11 or 12. Yeah. So the hotel ends up going out of business, and Bernard was then sent to be to a farm to be what was called a bound boy, which this is during the orphan train period.
Sure.
When we're just sending children around the country to be laborers.
Yep.
Or other worse things. Kids, they're basically indentured servants, right?
I like that as a slogan for kids. Kids, they're basically indentured servants.
Well, a lot of people treat them that way.
Yeah.
So he and the farmer don't like each other at all. At 13, however, he is in great shape from working on this farm. He's got muscles from the farm work.
All right.
And then he runs away. And he goes to St. Louis, where he has an uncle. And this uncle is actually happy to see him. This uncle has money, so he takes him in. So he helps Bernard get a desk job. But after a while, the desk job just deteriorates his health back to what it had been when he was sickly.
Okay.
So he's just sedentary, right? So at 16, he was a, quote, physical wreck. He has a hacking cough. He's just in bad shape.
Jesus. From a desk, that should be a lesson about desk jobs.
Well, I think also at that time, living in a city, it's crazy polluted. But also, yeah, you know, people get really unhealthy just working at a desk.
Yeah.
If you don't do other exercise.
Yeah. And then like I love the capitalist pitch is just like, we realize that sitting at a desk all day is terrible for you and probably not what you were meant to do. We bring to you the standing desk. Now you can stand all day and do this menial bullshit that sucks.
The standing desk is amazing. I have
standing
one.
desk is amazing and makes more sense, but it's also like your fix is like
no, I know, but that's
awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Or what about the little like sitting treadmill? It's just like at some point you just got to be like, we should be in the forest.
Yeah, it's not great, but you know, you got to be in the office, right?
Yeah, I got to be.
Can you hear that yelling?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
This is the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network.
He's playing a shooting game. He's standing on top of his bed with his headset on, and he's yelling.
Okay.
Well, you know, he's got his buddies. He's got to scream.
Sure.
I just went all dad on him.
What'd you say? How'd you go?
I said, hey, I am recording.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough when, you know, your job is to podcast. Because it's like, I am busy recording a comedy podcast with my friend.
I'm chatting with a buddy. What are you guys talking about? Some guy.
This kid who couldn't have shoes. My Jew is next for you, son.
Okay, so 16, he's put on this weight. He's a physical wreck. He's walking through St. Louis, and he sees a gymnasium. And inside, a bunch of dudes who are, like, chiseled, right? They're all...
Oh, fuck.
What? You don't like that?
I think I know who this is.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
So he was a big reader of the Police Gazette, which was a paper that popularized weightlifting and wrestling and boxing, right? So those kind of manly physical activities. But he can't afford a membership. It's like $15 a month. So he goes and he buys dumbbells and he works out that night on his own, just based on what he saw.
Sure.
And he wakes up sore as shit.
Yeah.
Then he wrote, quote, "Thereafter, I had but one object in view. I would not be satisfied until I was a strong man."
Okay, I don't know who this is.
So you went through that.
I'm going through it right now. I'm always in phase 1.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like start to get close to being a strong man, but then I just like wine and Fritos so much.
So he works out for a little while, and then he goes to the Barnum and Bailey Circus with a couple of buddies, and they decide to, after watching like the trapeze guys and all that stuff, they decide to set up a home gym in his uncle's cellar.
Okay.
So they have the dumbbells, they get a horizontal bar, they get 2 swinging trapezes.
It's a big old basement.
And then he starts carrying around a 10-pound lead bar that he would keep inside of his shirt when he went on his daily 6-mile walks back and forth from work.
Okay. So just a 10-pound, just
bar.
Adding 10 pounds to his daily commute.
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
No, it's not terrible.
It's a bit strange.
It's strange, but how else
it's a strange way to carry it.
I mean, I would think you would just put them in your hands, but he decided to stick it
That's
in
what
his
I would
shirt.
think. Yeah.
So he looks crazy.
Yeah.
He looks like he's a bone sticking out of his tum-tum.
Sure. We've all been there.
Yep. Oh. He also becomes a vegetarian.
Okay.
He found a copy of William Blakey's 1879 bestseller, How to Get Strong and How to Stay So.
I would love the idea of going from 1875's ways to stay strong is,
oh my God,
got to be amazing.
It's got to be incredible. It's got to, yeah.
The horse diet.
So he gets himself back into shape. He hits the road.
You're probably going to get lightheaded from not having tobacco. That's why you should be smoking while you work out.
I mean, that's like 1950.
Oh, they didn't smoke back then?
They were like giving women cigarettes when they were pregnant in 1950.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember.
So he's really in good shape now. And then he decides to hit the road. He wants to travel. And he kind of starts living the hobo life, just jumping on the rails, riding trains.
Sure.
He would work out in the train cars while other hobos watched.
Love it. Love it.
He worked a bunch of different jobs out there, like construction crew, water boy, a wood chopper, a printer's devil. He got a dental assistant job.
I just want to circle back on the. Can you do me a favor and just say that he was working out in the boxcar there again?
He was working out in the boxcar in front of a bunch of hobos.
That's what I call training.
That was. I mean, that was kind of weird thing to reverse for. I'm
going to do that more. I just think that's the way to handle it if I feel like I missed something. Seems like the right method to me. You can pick up the momentum a little quicker. A laugh would help. Do we want to do a third take just to have a safety?
It's not going to get a laugh.
Okay.
He worked different jobs like a construction crew, water boy, a wood chopper, printer's devil, and dental assistant for a cousin where he held people in headlocks during teeth extractions.
Wow, that was how you did it.
He was strong, so you get the big
guy.
but
I would be like, I'll handle it. So teeth extraction is that bad that you physically have to run.
Yeah, I would hold you down for that.
You're not listening to the words I'm saying.
But I just think as your teeth start coming out,
So this is before any anesthetic or anything like that.
Yeah, they're just yanking him.
So just like, this is Bernie. He's going to hold your head while we do this procedure. How are you?
So then he's working at a coal mine, and this is when he has a big light bulb moment. Like, oh, this is what I'm going to do with my life moment. He decided his life mission would be to preach the gospel of health to the world.
Okay. Great.
So he goes back to St. Louis, and he gets there and he tells people that he is a successful wrestler, and he has beaten, quote, the lightweight champion of the West.
Not true.
The welterweight champion of Chicago and the heavyweight champion of Chicago. None of that's
not true. Yeah, but again, the corroboration is so difficult.
Yeah.
So people are like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And you just act it and then you're it, right?
Yeah, you're like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
By the way, I came in second in the presidential race.
He held wrestling events. So he would wrestle against people and he sold tickets. So he's making money.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 5'6".
Okay.
But it worked. For health, he starts eating just a little bit of vegetables a day, and that's it.
That's the end of the list.
A small portion of vegetables. Okay. It works. He loses 25 pounds.
Define working.
It worked. He lost the weight. He looks thinner. He looks ripped.
Look at those abs.
But then
cut his arm. He doesn't even bleed. Look at him.
But then one day he's walking down the street and he almost faints, and he realizes maybe he's taking it too far.
Yeah.
Like maybe that was an extreme.
Yes.
He's 18 right now.
Okay.
He is fucking ripped, though. He's ripped.
Sure.
So he saves up enough money and opens up a gymnasium, his own gymnasium, right?
Okay.
So the goal, right? The goal is happening.
Yep.
Puts out a sign in front that reads, Bernarr Macfadden, kinesiotherapist, teacher of higher physical culture. Now, Gareth, I'm going to point out that I said Bernarr.
So intentional.
Mm-hmm.
There's no D.
Yeah, he decided to change his name.
To Bernarr.
To Bernarr. From Bernarr.
Bernarr.
Bernarr. Quote.
That's awesome.
The picturesque appealed to me. I wanted something out of the ordinary.
You got it. Because literally nobody else is doing that. Ever.
He thought Bernarr sounded like the roar of a lion.
It sort of does.
Go.
Sure. It also doesn't sound like a name. And listen, I don't think what we're going for with names is what kind of animal does it sound like.
Oh, I disagree.
Is that right?
That's what we should all be doing.
Well, he's successful. It worked.
It worked. We're talking about him right now.
Well, we're not sure why, though. That's part of the thing.
When I brought it up, you immediately like, is this guy part lion? Is he part?
Not something I said. What I said was he like trying to like short the painter or something? Was he trying to save some cash?
No, he used 2 R's.
It's not an excuse for dropping the D.
So he's not saving any money on the painting. It's the same number of letters. Bernarr.
Or Bernard.
Bernarr.
But he's not adding R's. Is he adding?
Yeah,
no.
There's 2 R's in the end.
Oh, he does.
The name is Bernarr.
It is really bad.
It's great.
And by the way, if you're going to do that, you add a 3rd R.
Okay. Yep, I'll give you that. Yep.
Thank you.
He also, he put, so his name is Macfadden, MC, but he put an A in there. So it's Mac.
Mac.
Because he thought that sounded more masculine.
Sure.
As far as kinestherapist, yes. He just made that up. That's not a thing.
Okay.
He totally just pulled that out of thin air, and doesn't matter. Business takes off. He's one of the first personal trainers in America.
Wow.
He submitted health articles to magazines and papers. Most of them are rejected. They're like, this guy's fucking nuts.
Not a name.
And then Bernarr starts trying to live on a diet of high fiber laxative.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Now his name makes sense. It's when he's shitting his brains out. Bernarr. Wow. So he's gone from so his lesson from not getting enough nutrients from vegetables, a small vegetable diet, was to just incorporate mainly laxatives.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much just a high laxative diet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shitting. I don't know if
yeah.
anybody's ever had to do that for a medical procedure overnight.
Yeah, but I don't know. Many people probably have, but many people have not been like, I'm going to make that my month.
Right. After I did it, I wasn't like, well, this should
You were
be
probably
what
hungry.
I do.
You're like, I'll go get something to eat.
Starving.
You weren't like, I'm hungry for more laxatives.
Let's keep pumping this shit through.
Let's keep going. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I can crap my intestines out.
Well, you keep going until there's nothing left, and then there's just then it's just
what?
Clear liquid coming out. That's what they want. They want you completely cleared out. So that's what he must have had. He must have just
clear
had
liquid.
Clear liquid coming through him, and he's like, "Well, look at this. It's great.
Finally.
Look how clean I am.
This is perfect."
So he starts having digestive problems.
From what?
I don't know. He doesn't really go into it.
So he's doing laxatives, and then his digestion gets silly.
Well, then
something must have happened in between.
Then he reduces the amount of laxatives he's taken in and starts exercising more.
Smart.
But now he looks like a skeleton. And all of his patients are now just clients. They're just bailing.
He was doing really well.
He was doing great. But then he
just decided to go.
He doesn't do anything halfway.
Right.
There's no halfway with this guy. It's all 100% full bore ahead.
Right.
So they were coming in. They're like, oh, I want to look good, but this guy looks fucking bad.
Hello. My name's Bernarr. Would you like to train?
I'm here
Would
to.
You like
I want to work on my upper body mostly.
Oh yeah.
How old are you?
You gotta get your.
How old are you?
What are
you doing? Oh my God.
My stomach. It's
okay.
My
God.
It's okay. It's just gonna come out like rubber cement.
Okay, I have to go. Thank you.
No, wait.
Hey, get off the floor.
My name's Bernarr.
Okay.
Let's get into that upper body, huh?
I gotta go.
Let's do some pecs.
Tell me what. Tell me this. Or I challenge you this. If I run down the block and you can catch me, then I'll work out with you. Okay. Bye.
Wait. Come back. I haven't the energy to do any of this. Help. Oh no. Oh, it's back again. I'll probably take a handful of laxatives here. Oh, shit. Oh, Bernarr. You've had it all. Now you're just shitting out a clear liquid. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, the clients are bailing. He now writes a novel.
Help!
It's I don't know what to do.
Help! By Bernie Mac.
Help! I don't know what to do. The book.
Help! I had an idea once and now it's gone.
The novel is called The Athlete's Conquest, and he sends it to a publisher, and the publisher replies, quote, "Contribution is the worst piece of junk that I have ever read. Rejected."
Wow. Jeez, what a dick.
Wow.
Just don't write back.
Bernarr, of course, is not deterred. Why would that deter you?
Right.
So he decides he should go to school and learn how to.
Good order of this plan, by the way.
And he gets a job as a professor of kinesiotherapy and all-around coach at St. Louis Military School. So he's going to go to classes while he's the coach and professor of the thing that's not real.
Right.
No pay. He does it for no pay. He's just doing it so he can take the classes.
It's a bit of a red flag, but okay.
So he does it for a year.
Okay.
And then he has no money.
Good.
And so he goes back to St. Louis and goes
Remember
back.
when he was on a pretty good diet and he had a successful business not that long ago?
When he was just a vegetarian who was working out?
When he was just a vegetarian and he wasn't just eating laxatives?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes back to St. Louis and he starts promoting wrestling matches again. And he comes up with this plan. He's going to I don't know what his weight is, but he decides to starve himself down.
Why is he going in this direction?
To the lightweight wrestling class of 135 pounds so he can win a tournament.
Okay.
And then after he wins that tournament, then he would challenge the winners of the welterweight, middleweight, and heavyweight classes.
Okay. So kind of a Conor McGregor move.
Yeah, he's going to work his way up all the classes, putting on weight.
Sure. Surely he was in a class right here, so he could have started with a class.
Yeah.
That he's in naturally. If he's like, I'm going to win all of them, be like, what am I now? Welter? I'll do that.
Well,
but instead he's like, I really want to do it I want to honor the chronology of this experiment. Plus I got all these laxatives burning a hole in me.
I mean, he doesn't do anything halfway, right? He does it. He goes, it's also a great gimmick. You know, I won all it's not a belt, but I won all the classes, right?
Yeah.
It's to draw crowds. It's a gimmick.
I get it. I get the hook of it. I'm just like, you're in a weight class now, so start there.
Yeah, your natural weight class. So
yes,
he gets in the ring for the lightweight match.
Okay,
and he is so skinny, the crowd starts laughing at him.
It's not good.
It's great, but he wins, and then he wins the next two classes.
Oh, so
the plan is all coming together.
Okay.
But then the heavyweight is like, I'm not going to wrestle you. So he challenges the reigning heavyweight in Chicago and wins. And now Bernarr is a celebrity in the region, the Chicago, Missouri area. He is he's a name.
Sure. Bernarr.
Yeah. Gareth, the Dollop is brought to you by Blue Chew. If you want to be hard as the summer day is long, then get yourself a Blue Chew and just bring that summer heat. You know what I mean?
So you're talking about
erectile, yeah, not hard body, like
right.
Muscle.
What kind of a hard body?
A part of a hard body. Blue Chew.
Kind of a hard body.
It's a unique online service. It delivers the same active ingredients in Viagra, Cialis, and I don't know, Levitra? Cialis.
I think it's Cialis. Cialis. Okay.
But just a fraction of the cost of those things. And it's chewable. Which is
so a fraction of the cost, but not a fraction of the erection.
Yeah. And a chewable is good for a little fellow like you.
Sure. Thank
Process is very simple. You sign up at bluechew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you get your prescription within days.
Okay.
And then you're ready to go.
Right. You're hard as soon as you get it.
It's hard. Blue Chew tablets, they're made in the USA, prepared and shipped straight to your door. It's all done online, which is the best part.
Okay.
So no going to a doctor's office. You don't have to have a weird conversation about what's going on down there. No waiting in line at the pharmacy. You take them anytime, day or night, whenever you want to go.
Wow.
You can plan ahead.
Let's do a chew.
Be ready when the opportunity presents itself. It's all happening.
Okay. It's good. So
it's good.
You're ready to go. Yeah. It's like Popeye spinach.
Hey man, if you're having problems
for your boner.
Yeah. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code Dollop at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping.
There you go.
That's bluechew.com, promo code Dollop to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Thank you, Blue Chew.
Thank you, Blue Chew. Okay. Back to our story. So he decides, so he does the whole, he's a regional celebrity, right? So he now decides to get a job at Marmaduke Military Academy as the physical director.
Okay.
So there aren't rules.
Does he have a plan? It feels like
the whole plan is to think of it as a Kardashian. The whole plan is to make himself a name, get whatever he's doing. It's to get.
This is, by the way,
name.
different than how the Kardashians started already. Unless you're about to bring Ray J into this.
I mean, that might be true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, but he's looking to be a mogul, essentially.
He wants to be a name. He wants to be the health guy in America.
Right. Okay.
So Marmaduke, which of course that's where you go, Marmaduke Military Academy. There's no rules.
That's good.
So he plays quarterback on the football team.
That's good. This is how you know you're in a serious. Yep. Absolutely.
The boys are 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious what's so funny because you're having a giggle. So I'm kind of like,
well, let me just say this.
How old is he around now?
He's like in his 20s. Let me just say this.
Sure.
If you don't want a man to play football with the boys, then you should have made that rule. But since you didn't make that rule, I'm going to play football.
Yep. Here I am.
And I'm going to fucking win us a
35
championship.
Playing with 9-year-olds. Let's break, boys. So weird. I mean, just imagine what that plan hatched.
I mean,
what do you mean? So I could go out there and play with him right now? They need a quarterback.
Yeah, I bet it was because he was in practice with the kids and no one could play quarterback. And he was like, oh, look, I throw the better than anybody.
It's like, I'm better than any of you. And they're like, hey, you're like a grown ass man.
Can I do this? I would just love to see him in like a 14-year-old uniform.
Yeah. And just like getting, well, it would look, I mean, we've referenced it before, but like Andy Reid in the the pass, punt, kick competition when
that's right.
He's like 15 and he looks like he ate 30 other 15-year-olds in order to get involved.
The best baseball, the best like 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds and stuff go to a tournament that was last week and they play baseball for like, the scouts and stuff. And the best kid there he's like 14. He's like 6'5" and 240 pounds, just all fucking muscle. Like he looks
crazy.
I mean, he looks like an Olympic athlete. Like it's crazy. And everyone's like, wow, look at this guy. I'm like, yeah, he's an adult.
It's a man.
He's
that is a
fucking
grown
adult.
Man.
So he makes money working at the job for a year, and then he uses that money to finally publish his book, The Athlete's Conquest, which was rejected previously
by a prick.
The plot is a great plot. It's about a guy, athletic guy, trying to find an athletic wife.
See, I didn't realize this was a narrative.
It's a novel.
I thought it was like a guidebook. And what did you say? What had you laughing?
It's an athletic guy trying to find an athletic wife.
Oh God! What a crazy, stupid. Just
the worst.
Just two hard bodies.
Completely insane. No, it's all fiction.
Yeah.
So now he decides to move to New York City and make it big. That's where you go to make it big. And he figures there's a lot of soft, overweight men sitting around in their offices in desperate need of kinestherapy, which is not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately put on a physical culture matinee for the press. So he hits the ground, he puts out a press, and he invites the press, and he's like, I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to show you guys
in New York
an impressive physical specimen is. So he prints photos of himself shirtless to draw a crowd. And he called himself Professor Macfadden.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Sun reported, quote, he chatted and posed in an interesting way for over an hour.
So
that's it. That's the whole thing.
And people showed up and they're like, okay.
I mean,
and he's like, look at that. You impressed? He's jacked.
I will say this. He's jacked. Like he looks like a Greek statue. Like he does genuinely have like a crazy form.
Right.
But for an hour, it's weird.
It's also weird to market, and it's weird. Like people are probably like, all right, what's next? And he's like, I don't know. What do you think? And they're like, yeah, you got a great body, pal. He's like, all right, so what do you, where do we go from here? And they're like, I mean, I don't know. It's just It's New York. It's like there's a lot going on. And he's like, well, maybe you guys could, get me in the bloodstream here a little bit in the pipeline. And they're like, not sure. You're just standing on a stage flexing a lot.
Yeah.
So not really sure what the plan is so much. He's like, well, I sold all my shit and I moved here. So it'd be really nice if someone could kind of point me in the direction of what am I doing?
That's not really a job, what you're doing. So it's
hold on. Check out the back. Look at that. Look at those traps.
I guess a statue.
Where's all the money located? Because I'm kind of looking to get a bunch of that.
Oh yeah, but you have to do stuff for that.
Yeah, that's exactly. So that's why I held this. So where's the contractor? Who's the mayor of this area? Where is he, please?
I don't know where he is. Yeah, I don't see.
We need to get
around anywhere. Nope, I don't see a mayor. No, not under there.
Here's what I'll do. We'll do another one tomorrow,
and
we'll get it. Bring the people who have the keys to the town. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow. Really good work.
All right, cool. Oh, careful. There's a little clear gel right there. That's from me. I leave what I call a snail trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Sort of a little, you know what I mean? Just a little slug slip. Okay.
So after this press event, he spent all his money on it. He has no money. He's broke.
And everyone was basically like that. Everyone was like, all right, cool.
So he's like freaking out. But then an actor comes to his gym to get in shape. And then that leads to other people. And all of a sudden, he has a big business.
Okay.
And his slogan is, weakness is a crime. Don't be a criminal.
It's pretty long.
Now, Bernarr fought against what he called his 6 pillars of sickness. Corsets, white bread.
Corsets is his first one?
Yeah.
It's a wild number one.
White bread, overeating, prudery,
okay,
vaccination,
oof,
and doctors.
Oh boy.
The big 6.
Strong finish. Can't believe that list starts with corsets.
It started okay. You're like, yeah.
It started crazy, and then it was like, oh, okay. He's like, it's pretty easy. All right. Something to cinch you up with. Okay. Addiction to fitness. You don't need blood.
Okay.
Kill all doctors.
Oh,
come on in.
Shit.
Here you go. Scan your little badge.
Don't listen to doctors. Listen to guys in gyms who made up words.
Hey, if I'd listened to doctors, I probably wouldn't have eaten so many laxatives in my life.
So he pushes good eating, exercise, and fasting. Okay, all fine.
Sure.
He comes up with the idea for a home exercise company. But it quickly fails because that's like 100 years ahead of its time.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah. It goes bankrupt very fast. So he still has the machine. So he goes to England to sell it. And he goes on a lecture tour to promote the machine.
The movie?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
And he would go to small English towns and pose in a loincloth and then demonstrate the machine.
Oh, rather. He's called from Fish from Nice physique, haven't you? I've heard about some of that loincloth there, huh?
It's a hit.
Of course.
They love it.
Does not surprise me.
No. So then he starts publishing a pamphlet there, which is also successful. And he gets married to a woman.
To an athletic woman?
Well, her name is Bertha Fontaine. They had met in Brooklyn, and then she came with him, but they got divorced very quickly after they got married.
Okay.
He would never admit that he married her for the rest of his life. In July 1898, the world's top muscle man, Eugene Sandow, started publishing a fitness magazine in England, and it's called Physical Culture. Later that year, Bernard goes back to New York and starts publishing a health fitness magazine called Physical Culture.
Mm-hmm. Dave, you're not allowed to do that.
What do you mean?
Well, it's the same name, so that's a problem.
Same name and same
everything.
Subject,
Took the idea completely.
It's the whole idea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I hope this guy never goes to America. Got to get pretty far down the line with that idea before you're like.
So the first, when he first started publishing it, it was just to advertise a new exercise, like contraption that he was trying to sell. On the cover, April 1899, was a photo of, quote, the editor as he appears in one of his classic poses. So it's just him looking just ripped.
Right.
People had been, health magazines aren't new. People have been publishing them for years, but Bernarr's takes off. It had
not gonna lie, I'm still having trouble with the name being Bernarr, but
yeah,
I'm just gonna get over and get through
it'll
that.
never stop. It'll never stop.
Okay.
There's no reason it would ever stop.
Okay.
So there's three reasons that the magazine takes off. Number one, he uses celebrities a lot.
Sure.
And then he also made the magazine for both men and women, whereas most of them would make it for men, right?
Right, of course.
And each issue had a little sexy, tantalating stuff in it. A bit of
meaning
sex.
A little what?
Steamy articles.
Steamy
articles.
Steamy,
yeah.
like
sex stuff, like actual sex stuff.
What? But what? Like fictional sex stories, or like ways to get
banged? No, not ways to get banged. Like just like
a slice of.
Yeah, like this happened. This secretary and this guy,
he ate her like corn on the cob.
That's it. In January 1900, he was selling 25,000 magazines. Now, he hates doctors. We went over that. And when President McKinley was assassinated in 1901, he wrote an editorial attacking McKinley's doctors who had fed him bread dipped in beef juice after he was shot.
That's what got him. A lot of we're laughing, but I think, first of all, that's what Trump ate after he got shot. But you've got to be very careful when you're a post-assassination diet is very important. Because there are ways to reverse the wound and there's ways to kind of exacerbate the problem. So, you don't want to be eating any, I think he's right that last thing you want to be doing is eating any
beef dipped bread.
Well, bread dipped in some sort of beef, that's just.
Well, let me ask you something.
Please.
You've been shot in the tum-tums.
I've been shot in the tum-tum. I've been shot in the head.
And then there's a waiter walking by and he's got a really nice looking French dip.
Well, look, you're going to want to eat it. When you get shot in the stomach, your cravings are nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like peanuts.
Yeah,
which we've already talked about. No, I'm talking about, look, you're going to want to go with something like that. The best thing to do, hey, can I have a salmon salad? Then you're going to be back. Something like that.
That's right. Oh, that's a good point.
Something,
nice
something
light.
Something light.
With fiber. And
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. He wrote, quote, "May God forgive the fools, another martyr to the cause of medical experimentation."
It's such a tweet.
But he's not wrong. Medical experimentation then is off the charts and it's nuts.
Sure, but you could also eat beef bread and survive still die from a gunshot.
Yes.
Like the way he's like, of course he's going to die if you give him beef bread. That's crazy. That is crazy.
So the magazine is so titillating that the
Why
YMCA...
doesn't Trump have a publication called Magazine?
Oh my God.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Oh my God.
Let's go. How is he leaving that play on the field?
Yeah, seriously. Magazine, yeah.
Just
people would buy it just because the name right away.
It's great branding.
Why don't we make it and just sell it and
then give the money? We should probably stop recording.
We should make it and then sell it and give the money to women's abortion funds.
That's exactly what that would be the best plan.
Help with the ladies.
To just in there put crazy shit that hopefully doesn't spike vitriol that's already coming from them, and just call it magazine, and then we put it all. And then we just start opening more Planned Parenthoods.
All the money goes to charity. More Planned Parenthoods everywhere. Oh, we have ideas that we'll never do because.
All right, so wait, hold on. Any really rich person with some time out there, let's go.
So he starts cranking out books.
Okay.
He starts a woman's health magazine. In 1902, he's making $1 million in today's money.
Wow.
So the YMCA and railroad companies start removing the magazines because of the sexy articles. The books are like the virile powers of superb manhood, strength from eating, and Macfadden's new hair culture.
So those don't feel sensual, and
the virile powers
does.
Yeah, the superb manhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the baldness one is great because in it, he said he avoided early onset baldness by pulling on his hair for several minutes a day.
Well, that works. That's just how you get that stuff to come. That's how you don't let it. It's like hair is like worms. Don't let them go back in their holes.
I would like to say that this wouldn't still work, but there are people who are watching Instagram and TikTok videos and then putting tape over their mouth at night to stop snoring.
What if I told you I went on the road with one of those guys? What if I told you I had access to one of those guys?
It's very dangerous. Don't do that.
Listen, so is me not sleeping. So sometimes you got to tape them up like a box.
If you could tape your mouth shut to stop snoring, people would have done it decades ago.
Well, why didn't they?
Because Joe Rogan didn't tell him to.
Listen, Luke, listen. It's okay. He's allowed to.
Bernarr claimed he could cure chronic ailments that doctors could not cure.
Sure.
All with natural remedies for free.
Sure.
So then he opens a health home to cure people.
Sure.
It's fresh air, health food, exercise, stuff like that. And people come, and he claims that he has successful cures of people who had chronic illness.
Okay.
So other people are like, this is great. So then he leases a much larger 65-room hotel on Long Island.
Jesus Christ.
But now he's going to charge money. So many people came.
Wow.
That he had to open up a tent village around the hotel.
Wow.
And in the tent village, mosquitoes were feasting on the people all night. Also, it turns out the staff were alcoholics and thieves, so they were stealing people's stuff.
So really weird little turn. He opens a health hotel, and then he has to open like triage, and then the staff is just alcoholic thieves.
Yeah.
Okay.
He ends up having to reimburse all the patients who had all their stuff stolen.
Like he keeps knocking on the door of kind of getting there, but then there's some either sabotage by terrible decision making or just complete self-sabotage.
Yeah. It closes after 7 months because it's just a money pit.
Sure.
So now he marries a Canadian nurse he met named Marguerite. He's trying to show people how to eat healthy and cheaply. He called white bread and candy poison.
This guy needs nobody loves white bread. Relax. This guy's just like, white bread is how the devil came out. Okay, white bread will kill you.
It's like his main enemy. Everyone has to have a villain.
He just anytime he sees somebody eating white bread, he's like, you just
here we go.
Idiot.
You're ruining your life.
I killed McKinley.
So he opened the Physical Cultural Experimental Restaurant.
Uh-oh.
Meals for a nickel.
Okay.
Vegetarian menu.
Okay.
It takes off.
Oh, good. All right.
And soon he's franchising it in other cities.
This guy's had a lot of things take off.
Yeah, you're right. It always takes off, but then
there's some wrinkle where it just collapses.
Yeah. He noted that horses, cows, and pigs were judged at fairs. Quote, but never on a single occasion has a prize been offered for the best specimen of man or woman.
Okay.
So he creates the first bodybuilding show.
There we go.
I'm sorry, I said first. Sandow had created one in London a year before.
Well, the first, Landau was probably like, motherfucker, stop. Sorry. You son of a bitch, knock it off, bugger.
It's Sandow, but yeah.
Right.
Bernarr's would be held at the New York Opera House, and it sold out. The tickets sell out very quickly. It's huge, and then he includes women, and it becomes international, like looking for international people. By 1904, it included, quote, races for men and women, fencing championship, wrestling bouts, and several fasting competitions.
This is the story of American Gladiators.
Did you hear the last thing I said?
Fasting competitions. Competitive starving.
Yes, competitive starving.
Yep.
They should have that at the Olympics.
You know what? They really should. And the athletes actually started this contest 3.5 months ago. You can see a lot of them haven't made it.
Ooh, he's gaunt.
Oh, boy, he's really not looking good.
I feel like I'm looking at a ghost.
A lot of these look like they are just skeletons that someone put a wallet over. Really not looking good. And, okay, and we see they're bringing out the spaghetti now. We're going to see how long these people can resist eating the spaghetti. This is a big
look at
bowl
that.
of spaghetti.
That looks like Jenkins' arm. The spaghetti looks just like an arm.
It actually does. Some of these noodles are thicker than some of the appendages on these people. Yeah. Oh, gosh, and here we go. They're bringing out the Parmesan. They're asking them to say when, even though, remember, these competitors are unable to eat any of this if they want a medal. Yeah. And so we're watching it right now. It looks like they are all very, very hungry. Really, you could tell. Now, if you look closely, you can see the Germans are really smelling it. And really obviously for the Italians, this is extra difficult. Pasta.
Now, the American dish went on day one, so
the American. Well, the American was actually caught in a mozzarella cheese scandal. Was turned out he was cheesing. But golly, looks like these guys are really. And I'm gonna go ahead and suggest right here. I am pretty sure the Swiss competitors are not alive. You could tell they're really.
They don't seem to be.
I'm not. Their stomachs were going up and down for a minute, and I'm not seeing full breathing here anymore. But God, you got to hand it to these people. They are really going somewhere, either to the medal ceremony or
the hospital or the
hospital, the morgue. Yeah.
But if you die, you can get a gold.
Absolutely. No, actually, gold goes to the death. Last to die wins is how this has always worked out in previous summer games.
Yep. So the women's outfits, very tight. They leave nothing to the imagination. They just have a little skin tight with just a little sash around the waist. That's all.
By the way, the creepy guy at the event was definitely the one who was like, hey, doesn't leave much to the imagination now, does it? hey, for guys, am I the only one who doesn't need to imagine too much right now as far as what I can see?
You ladies mind if I sits here and masturbates?
Yeah, okay. This guy came with me, but he's a little pushing
forward.
Yeah. I'm just this doesn't leave much to the imagination guy. I didn't realize my friend Alan was a whack and
I'm a whack-off guy.
Yeah, I didn't realize I came with a whack-off guy.
Yeah.
His whacking off in the front row doesn't really leave much to the imagination.
No, everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I got arrested.
He calls it creating a culture.
Yeah. So on October 5th, 1905, the United States anti-poor, anti-sex czar, Anthony Comstock, who works for the post office.
Yeah, his name comes up a lot, yeah.
Yeah, he raids the magazine offices. And Bernarr is arrested for circulating obscene pictures, which are the posters of women who had won previously.
Okay, and those are obscene.
Yeah, because they're in skin-tight outfits.
Sure.
And the magazine at this point is known for its photos of topless women exercising. And it had articles like naked people near New York.
Okay.
which is
So
about
there is nudity. I mean, that should obviously be allowed, but it's
that's about a New Jersey nudist colony.
okay.
So the raid, of course, just creates more publicity, and then at that year's event, 20,000 people show up to the garden.
Okay.
Which is 5,000 more than capacity. So it just causes him to sell more tickets.
Right.
2 weeks after, his magazine called Comstock the King of the Prudes, which stuck.
Comstock.
And in March 1906, Bernarr was found guilty.
Okay.
But they just released him. They're like,
what a useless.
I think they might have fined him a couple bucks, but it was just like, okay.
Still, for him, it's all good.
Yeah. From that point on, he was just constantly attacking Comstock in his magazines. And a guy he praised in his magazine was a guy named John Alexander Dowie, who founded Zion City.
Okay.
So he thinks Dowie's awesome.
Oh, boy.
And he decides...
I love it when our friends are like, the people become super friends.
Yeah. And he decides he's going to make his own city, just like Zion City.
Oh, good.
And it will be called Physical Culture City.
Oh, my God.
So he buys...
Is that Landau City?
He buys 1,800 acres.
Fuck.
In northern New Jersey. And the idea is no saloons, no drugstores, no tobacco shops, and no prudes.
Nope. He's really hung up on this prude stuff.
Yeah. No red meat's banned, high heel shoes are banned, white bread is banned. Of course,
Crazy.
White bread is banned.
Again, crazy list.
When if you eat white bread, it's the death penalty.
Yeah.
I assume.
Ah.
So 200 people show up to live in the city.
Sure.
They're mostly really poor people. And then locals would come.
I swear to God, I would show up there just to be like, I understand there's free white bread. Just to watch him go bonkers.
Where does sourdough land on the...
We understood that there would be free white bread for life here. Isn't that like your whole thing?
Kill him, boys. Yeah. So local people would come to watch because everyone is in skimpy outfits. So there would just be a little crowd around.
Wild.
Bernarr and his wife had a daughter, but then he starts to stray. And he is seen walking around holding hands with his secretary, Susie Wood.
Just aggressive.
So then Marguerite moves back to Canada. She's like, well, you're fucking
So this is the death of Bernarr.
And then Bernarr starts shacking up with Susie.
Okay.
And then she gets pregnant and has a baby.
Sure.
And then word gets out that he had cheated nationally, and it affects his magazine sales.
Sure.
And in March 1907, he gets arrested again, this time for the magazine Growing to Manhood. Which
Growing to Manhood?
Had articles about the perils of syphilis.
Wait, he opened a side magazine, or this was in the magazine?
He's had side magazines, and this is a side magazine
called Manhood, and it talks about syphilis.
Growing to Manhood.
Growing to Man. So, a boner?
I mean, I don't think he's being subtle.
We talking Blue Chew?
I think it's Boner Magazine. That's what I think he's doing here.
It's great. That, by the way, that really should happen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What do you think is on boner.com?
Me. So this is going south. The utopia starts falling apart.
Yeah, of course.
People are upset, and then he holds a town meeting to bring everyone together, a unity meeting. But then
this is 200 people who live there, though. So this is a town meeting of 200 people.
Well, and also a lot of people have left. Like it's not.
Okay, so it's like 50 people. He's like, look, this is still going real good.
Well, he ends up losing his shit at the magazine and accusing them all of treason.
Great.
And then in July 1907, the Physical Culture Publishing Company is moved back to New York City. So he bails the business on his own city.
Sure.
He also has to go to trial in October, and he is found guilty. And this time he is sentenced to 2 years. But people think that's crazy, and so Taft commutes his sentence.
Boy, He's like, Taft, by the way, it looks like you're eating a lot of white bread.
That's nice that you commuted my sentence because I've been talking so much shit about how big you are.
I called you President Whale Boy.
Yeah, it's but thank you, Husky.
Yeah.
He creates the Washed Air Company.
Man, what's the opposite of a tidal machine?
It's absolutely nothing like what you think. It makes double-decker subway cars.
But that's what's so bad about the name. Like when you give me a name and you're like, it does nothing like what you think. It's like, that's not a name is supposed to make you go, oh, that's that thing.
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
Washed Air.
Gareth, can you think of what would be wrong with a double-decker subway car?
Yeah. Yes, I can. I absolutely can.
Well, oddly, no city bought it.
Why? What's the matter? This is like Musk territory.
It totally is.
And the whole thing with the double-decker bus is we're going to be able to put the double-decker subway cars down there probably in the next 2 to 3 months.
Just imagine like people being like, how big is it? And he's like, this big. And they're like, well, that doesn't fit. Oh,
it'll fit.
Oh.
It'll fit.
So then he creates a breakfast food called Strengtho, which is based on
this man was born for a biography. I mean, this is not. It's all hits.
Well, that was based on what Kellogg and Post were doing at the time, and they also had their sanitariums in Battle Creek, Michigan, where we went and visited their graves.
Yeah. Well, some of us went a little wild on their graves, if memory serves.
No, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
What's wild?
What did you do?
What
did you do to the grave?
I poured out a quart of milk.
Yeah. You think that's okay?
That's fine.
Remember when you were a kid and you'd play Ding Dong Ditch?
Yeah.
Same energy I had going through my body that day. I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Dave just poured a ton of milk on a grave, on a cereal man grave.
What were you saying the whole time I was pouring it?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think you were like, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, I was
that's
definitely
enough.
trying to shut the project down. That's van life. Patreon.
I poured it all out.
Oh, yeah. No, that's without question. You finished the job.
You got to show respect.
I don't think that's how it was interpreted by other people there.
So Bernarr decides he's going to open up a sanitarium, and Post rents a building to him that he owns, and that becomes Bernarr Macfadden Sanatorium, and it's for rich people. And then he unveils his latest thing.
Can't wait.
Is psychotopathy. A new science of healing.
Okay.
There were a bunch of things involved in this. Water cures, massage, skeletal manipulation, all natural stuff.
Skeletal manipulation, I'm flagging.
It's all fine.
Not okay.
Upton Sinclair becomes a big client.
Wow.
He's a very happy customer. Many now call Bernarr BM, his initials, but he liked it because it's also the nickname for a bowel movement.
So he sees that as a plus.
Into that, yeah.
Okay. Sure.
So BM had Sinclair fast and then go on an all-milk diet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
A glass of milk every half hour.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my fucking yes.
I don't know why you think I'm making it up as I go along. Why would you say that?
It's just no wonder this guy hated doctors, because if any doctor heard any of his ideas, you actually physically cannot do that.
You know what? You sound like a professor of diarrhea. That's all I hear.
A glass of milk every half hour sounds like a war crime. It sounds like what you would do, like when Abu Ghraib papers came out. You'd be like, "Oh my God, these poor bastards! How dare they?"
The worst thing ever.
A glass of milk every half hour. I mean, how long could that possibly go on for?
I don't know, but I'm sure it went on for days. Like it sounds.
I mean, you had to just be like,
it'd be terrible.
There'd just be like a plasma film in your mouth, like,
oh, so bad.
Just dying from milk.
Yeah, horrible.
Jesus Christ. No food and a glass and this is the guy who's telling us to avoid white bread.
That's right.
You got to be careful. Your body's a temple. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove all nutrients incoming except for milk, which we'll do twice an hour.
Do you remember oh God, what was I going to say? I forgot my train of thought.
Try putting another.
Do you remember all of the, like at the other sanitariums, like Kellogg Sanitarium, all the crazy contraptions that he had for people to work out on and stuff?
Yeah,
like
he had like weird pummel horse jumpy thing, like lots of springs, lots of weird. Yeah. That basically was, like a Three Stooges gym is what he had.
You can look it up online. They're very just wild.
Comical.
So he kind of did something similar. He invented something called the peniscope, which
Dave
is a cylindrical.
Dave, come on.
It's a cylindrical tube.
Oh no!
Attached to a vacuum.
Oh no! What? He's
and
invented a dick sucker.
The other is attached to your penis.
So he invented.
It's to make your penis grow.
But wait, Dave. Of course. Listen. Here's what I've learned: when something's sucking your cock, it gets bigger. What in the name of God?
Everyone's just showing up.
Are we cleaning this out in between suckings?
Can I get back on the peniscope?
I'm actually in the middle of using the peniscope. The men are getting really upset about other men being on the penis.
There's a line.
How much longer? By the way, I finished in the peniscope again. So this is just a machine that kind of like sucks your dick to get bigger.
Yeah, but,
I mean, I'm trying to find the way to like actually talk about the thesis behind the idea a little bit, but it's like a machine that pulls your penis, and then your penis is supposedly will be lengthier overall.
That's
when
correct.
you take your cock out.
That's correct.
Yeah, I many problems there for me. Among them, I'm not going to be like.
While you slam milk,
cock holes.
You drink milk.
You're doing real good, Greg. Now, take another glass of milk while this machine sucks your dick.
Oh.
There you go. Wow, look, he's making milk while he's drinking it. This guy's awesome. Look at us, guys.
So the sanatorium is very successful, but
crazy.
After 2 years, he thought Post was really ripping him off on rent, so he shut it down and bailed.
This guy just can't hang in there.
Mm-mm. So he opens up a new place on Chicago's South Side in 1912. He also is publishing magazines, a bunch of magazines. He's making speeches. He would write a new health book every few months. He had a physical culture training school and made treatment plans for hundreds of people.
Okay.
He published a 5-volume encyclopedia of physical culture, and now he had 20 health food restaurants. Somehow, he is still living on the financial edge.
It's crazy.
Because the trials cost a lot. I assume the moving and opening.
He must just be horrible with the money. He must have just been putting money in like tons of shit that didn't work out as well. Yeah. And I mean...
And the moving has to cost a lot. He's moving and moving and moving. So yeah, so Marguerite is done. She files for divorce, and Comstock bans his books from the mail completely.
Okay.
And then he gets arrested again. So he flees to England.
Where Landau was like,
Sandow.
That's me.
He's 42 at this point. So he starts lecturing. He's selling books. He holds a perfect woman competition in Britain. It's the perfect thing in front of him. It's never good.
No.
So the winner is 19 years old. Her name is Mary Williamson. And what she would get for winning is 100 pounds after doing a 60-city tour with him.
It's just creepy shit.
What? No, totally.
Definitely
great.
like his way of being like, you'll be my wife at the end of this. You will be my wife.
It sells out. And they're doing feats of strength. Like she's doing she's an athlete.
Sure.
You're not going to believe this. After 2 months, he asked her to marry him.
Wow.
You can believe that.
Shocking.
She says yes. Then after she said yes, he stood on his head and had her time him. Minute 4. You're looking confused.
Good?
That's what you do when you celebrate.
For sure.
When a woman accepts your marriage proposal, you stand on your head for as long as you can.
Absolutely. No, it's for sure. Yep. Has he told her about this dick sucking vacuum yet?
No, not yet.
No.
She has to sign an oath before they get married that she would not have any doctors at the birth. Any birth.
Jesus Christ.
And
of course not, hon. That's crazy.
Why would I want a doctor?
Yeah, if I hemorrhage, we'll figure it out. I'll just have a good meal.
She would also raise the kids by his health rules. Nothing else.
Great.
It sounds good, right?
Well, I mean, his milk every half hour sounds like a baby's diet, so that's not a bad start.
They got married with nobody there.
Sure.
On the wedding night, he gave her his novel because he found her, Gareth. The novel's about what happened.
Oh, right. The athletic.
He found the athletic woman.
Yeah, right. And all he had to do was open a competition.
He's like, this is about you, baby.
Yeah. You're 20 years. Yeah.
So they moved to Brighton and he talks her into doing one last stunt. I say one last because she's pregnant, very pregnant. And he has her dive off the 60-foot platform into the sea. She's super pregnant.
You know, I don't think I need to know that no doctors are around.
The daughter he had with Susie, remember his secretary was holding hands with?
Yeah.
Comes to live with him, but he tells Mary she's an orphan he's taking in.
Nice. That probably made her feel good too. That's what I like about that.
Mary had the baby and then quickly got pregnant again.
So she survived the 60-foot jump into the sea.
Yeah, but I think it didn't help the relationship.
Sure.
And then Bernarr dunked the baby in cold water, really cold water every morning because he thought that would be good.
Who's he consulting?
Himself.
Just imagine the ego on you to be like, this is good.
I know, right?
Babies love freezing.
So they moved to France and he starts eating, quote, handfuls of fine quartz sand along the beach.
He's Sando. Sandlow. So he's just walking along the beach eating it?
I'm wondering if he heard about like geckos or, other animals that need sand to digest. Like there are lizards and stuff that have to have. I'm wondering if he heard that and decided that.
Don't tell him about the dung beetle. The dollop will be right back. Maybe that's fine, but animals do crazy shit. That's Is he going to build a nest out of gum and hay?
No, but what he did was write 2 articles on the digestive power of sand. One was sand cleans glass bottles. Why not bowels?
Oh, no. This is the laxative guy. This is the guy whose diet was pure laxatives. And now he's like, sand. That's it.
Sand, it cuts you up.
Sand, because we're basically glass.
Can I just say something?
Please.
What about the shits? Think of the shits.
It's got to be like the opening to Days of Our Lives. I mean, he must just be, what you're expecting has got to be true.
It's just the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just shitting sand.
Oh my God.
Just sand shitting.
So now World War I breaks out.
And
so
the Beach Boys saw him and they're like, I got an idea.
So World War I breaks out and they go back to New York. He publishes his latest book, Manhood.
Ow, my asshole.
That's about the harm of masturbation.
Wait, what is it called?
Manhood.
Okay, sure.
It's about the harm of masturbation, coitus interruptus, and how massaging the thyroid made gray hair return to its normal color.
All right. There's lots going on there. Coitus interruptus is one of his things. That means don't stop fucking me when you start.
Yeah, he's saying come inside.
Oh, he's saying this guy's really... And I'm writing this one to my wife, Mary.
He turned 50 in 1918, and despite all of the success, he really does not have very much money. He doesn't even own a house, which is easy back then.
Right.
If you're slightly successful.
He owned a hotel with 60 rooms at one point.
Yeah. They own, they have 4 daughters, Bernice, Beulah, Beverly, and Bronda.
Stupid.
They moved to Long Island. Now, he would often walk 6 hours and 25 miles to his Manhattan office. They have 2 more daughters. All the kids have to exercise constantly.
Eat your sand. Drink your milk. If it's not going down right, drink your milk.
They really didn't celebrate Christmas because he thought Santa was fat and had a drinker's nose.
Yeah, he did.
He did, yeah.
Disgusting. Well, Jesus Christ. I'd say get him to a doctor, but that'll only make it worse.
So Physical Culture magazine starts taking submitted photos, which means tons of topless, sometimes sans pants pictures.
By the way, they should have called him Sans Pants.
This leads to a gay audience for the magazine.
Okay.
Bernarr then launches True Story in 1919. It is immediately successful. It is a confessional magazine with the basic guide of it was
this is a good idea.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Good idea.
The first issue had stories like a wife who awoke in time, an ex-convict's climb to millions, how I learned to hate my parents. So it's all like, oh, it's
right.
It's
kind
reality.
Of scandalous. Yeah, right.
It's reality TV, but in a magazine.
Right.
First-person stories, mostly about sin and redemption.
Sure.
Usually sexual stuff described in detail. Often those were young, poor girls being taken advantage of by rich men. He also used stage photos instead of illustrations.
Okay.
And he created then new magazines, True Romances and True Experiences. He was trying to ward off other people from starting magazines that were similar to
right. He was doing every spinoff.
Yeah.
That's why we should have done sports, crime, all those.
Sex.
So
so of course, as he always does, he takes things too far. He just can't point out what is right about medicine, wrong about medicine. He has to go after them. So he claims the American Medical Association is poisoning the wells on his estate.
Wow. It's just crazy. I can't believe a guy who fucked a machine, eats sand, drinks milk all the time is like, you guys are the problem.
If you can imagine someone doing crazy shit and then blaming doctors for it.
It's weird.
I can't, yeah.
Imagine.
He spoke with like a Missouri twang, and an employee called it, quote, a combination of Old Scotch and Choctaw. Sometimes suddenly he would start mooing or braying while talking.
Braying?
People, like a donkey.
Okay. Sometimes we're roasting someone and I'm going, and then I'm like, oh no.
He really liked to compare himself to Huckleberry Finn.
It's just, there's a lot. It's not turning out great. This whole story is leading to some problematic stuff.
So now he puts his hair in a pompadour.
Okay.
Because he wants to promote his baldness cure, yanking on the hair. And he came to believe in earth-to-body magnetic currents. So he starts walking barefoot, sleeping on the floor, and standing on his head a lot.
Now, see, the barefoot one, I think there is some reality to some of that, but the standing on your head seems a bit extreme.
Nope, it's not a thing. Sleeping on the floor?
Again, I think there's a middle ground there. Walk a little barefoot. That's okay.
Yeah.
Get your feet in the grass. There you go.
It's definitely weird.
Drink a milk every half hour.
He hates fashion, so he now is wearing his clothes until they're basically falling apart.
Okay.
Maintenance men in his building started thinking when they saw him that he was a derelict, so then he would start challenging the maintenance men to fistfights.
Well, that's really going to help his case.
They finally have a son. They've had 6 girls. They finally have a son, Byron. And he's peaking. His business is huge.
Okay.
His offices have a gym in them, and Bernarr would stop meetings, editorial meetings, to wrestle with a former lightweight champion he had in the office.
Okay.
And then those would go on for an hour or two while everyone waited for it to stop.
2 hours? I'd be like, guys, this is crazy.
Someone's got to win.
Imagine watching 2 guys wrestle for 2 hours.
While you're trying to work.
Yeah, I'd just be like, guys, it's a tie.
After the match, he'd go to his desk, usually topless.
This guy's just... This guy's...
He divided the offices horizontally to save on rent.
How does that even...
So it's an office on top of an office.
But I'm like...
And you'd have to climb up to get in your upper office.
He's like, the 2-story subway car was crazy, huh? Not so crazy now.
So people were hunched over at their desks.
So people are hunched over at their desk and other people are like, I'm sorry.
What's the John Malkovich movie where there's...
Being John Malkovich.
Is that the one where they have the half,
the weird 13th floor?
I'm honestly, when I read this, I was wondering if oh my God, did the person who wrote Being John Malkovich read
Jones,
this?
Or, no, what's his name? Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah. Did Kaufman read this and know about this? Or
maybe.
Do they just have the same crazy mind? So he's really well known at this point. He's a celebrity. His daughters become known as the Macfaddenettes, and they would perform fitness routines on the radio.
By the way, that's a great way to have your workout translate without question, is to just go on the radio and do a fitness routine for me to listen to you do it.
As a group.
You know, I guess there's probably some naysayers out there sitting by the old AM FM thinking to themselves, maybe this isn't actually happening. But don't let those people stand in the way. These women are in these offices really doing it.
The magazine
3 and 4
2,
and
1.
5.
My legs
and
going
we're
up.
really doing it. And 1.
My legs going
and
up. My
2,
legs going up.
And we're
My
really
legs
doing
going
it. And now we're doing so many push-ups. It is crazy.
The magazine is promoting alternative healers who cure everything from baldness to bowel problems.
Mm-hmm.
On December 4th, 1922, Byron has a seizure. So Bernarr takes the baby and dunks him in really hot water.
It's good. Cook it.
It's so hot, Mary can't keep her hands in it when they're submerged.
Yeah, but babies are less sensitive than an adult woman's hand.
That's right. She finally yells at him and makes him call a doctor, but it's too late. Byron died. To help their grief, Bernarr takes the entire family to Atlantic City.
That's to help? Okay.
And has them walk up and down the boardwalk all day in the snow for 2 weeks.
You know what I love about him?
How else are you going to get over it?
Here's what I love about him. He solves problems by making problems.
Much worse problems.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he writes an editorial about his son's death, saying he had a fall and he was overfed by Mary.
Yeah. He had way too much sand for a baby.
So that creates a permanent rift between
God, she's so sensitive.
Husband and wife. I know. You can't
seriously
blame your wife for a baby's death anymore.
Honestly, women are so sensitive about that sort of stuff.
Now
that's what I love about JD Vance. JD Vance, and again, look, I'm not going to hammer, but this is why he's the guy. This is why the Dollop's endorsing JD Vance, not only for vice president, for president.
That's right. Yeah, for emperor. Let's be honest.
For everything, he's got a good read on how to talk to people who aren't exactly like him.
He gets people.
Yes, he does. He connects with people. He connects with people.
Now, Mary blames Bernarr for the baby's death
because he threw him in a boiling pot of water.
Put him in hot water
because he treated him like pasta.
The baby was having a seizure, and you're not supposed to. I guess you're not supposed to put them in hot. You're supposed to cool them down when that happens. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Once they're al dente, then you run them under cold water, and then you put it aside while you make your sauce.
Yeah. She also thought Bernarr was the reason she had miscarried once for making her strenuously exercise while she was pregnant. But they stay together and they have another baby boy, Berwin.
Jesus Christ. This is God's way of saying there's no more B names.
Right? Bernarr decides the president has the biggest audience in America, so that is the job to get. Quote, political contests that derive their support through advocating physical culture reforms will, I believe, become a reality in the not far distant future. So he thinks that exercising policy will win you the election.
Sure. Does he know America?
No. He thought the only way to be taken seriously was to get the press to talk him up. But they're not doing it, so he starts the New York Graphic paper with the intent to boost his profile.
Sure.
And, quote, the Graphic represented one of the low points in the history of American journalism. At first, it was like a daily physical culture type paper. It had goofy contests, a lot of photos, a column, and of course, wisdom from Bernarr. But it didn't take long for the paper to switch to a sensationalist tabloid. Headlines like weed parties in soldier's love nest and 2 women in fight. One stripped, the other eats bad check.
Are you sure this is one guy's life? Is this maybe like 3 different guys? Is it like when 3 kids are in a trench coat trying to pass as an adult? Is this maybe 3 life stories in one?
It's really crazy how much stuff he does. So the Graphic starts using composographs, staged photos with the heads of newsmakers pasted onto models' bodies. So
sure,
stage a photo and then you take the head of, the celebrities and you pop them on top. And
right.
There you go.
Yep.
And then you are good to go.
I feel like there's going to be some backlash.
This is it's deep fakes, the magazine, right?
Yeah, cheap fakes. That's what they are.
The paper started using these during Leonard Kip Rhinelander's divorce trial. He was suing his bride, accusing her of not telling him she was part black. This is super cool. It's a good time. I don't know why you keep saying it's a bad time. It's a good time.
No, you're right. I should have hung in there and waited for the good stuff like this.
One day in court, it was said she stripped down to the waist to prove the charge was false. Now, I don't know what's happening.
What are you even...
I don't know. Is she...
I don't know.
I think it's a nipple thing.
Well, it's obvious this claim is now fake.
Court case dismissed.
Yes.
So the Graphic runs a I hate this word.
Composograph.
Is that what it is?
I will guess I'm thinking is a composite.
Oh shit! People are going to make fun of me. Composograph.
Okay.
Of the situation.
Okay.
The circulation jumps by 100,000.
Wow. Okay.
But it doesn't do well with advertisers at all.
Sure.
Because they probably want to stay away from the scandalous nature.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the graphic had been to get his political career started, but that's not happening either. People just want the salacious stories.
Yeah.
So he commissioned...
It's crazy for him to do that. And then he's like, can I walk you through a workout routine? What? You know how to eat? Have you ever been to the beach and thought I could eat it?
So now he commissions 3 biographies in 1929.
About him?
Yeah. 3.
The ego on this guy.
Critics attack the biographies.
Sure.
H.L. Mencken wrote, quote, the authors of these brochures do not spare the goose grease. Poor Macfadden chokes and gurgles in it on every one of their 825 pages.
Wow.
So the paper folds in 1932.
Most papers fold.
And over its run, Bernarr lost $11 million.
Oh, my God.
So he now starts trying to get in with FDR. And he talks Eleanor Roosevelt into editing a magazine called Babies, Just Babies.
Dave, I'm running out of energy. Dave.
I cut so much out of this story.
Dave.
Babies, just babies.
And may I ask the dumbest question possible?
What?
Is it just babies?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just babies.
A magazine of babies? Now that's called Facebook. Wow. I don't know what's crazier, that he wanted to do it or that he talked Eleanor Roosevelt into doing it.
I know. But it folds.
I had an interesting conversation today, Franklin, with a man who suggested we only drink milk every half hour and eat sand, but he had a great idea for a publication.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the magazine will be called Babies.
Mm-hmm.
Just Babies.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll only be babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you're thinking. I seem like I've got a pretty good head on my shoulders, and I seem to be someone who makes a lot of sensible decisions. Mm-hmm. And allow me to further label myself as that kind of person by telling you the good news that I agreed we should do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be making a magazine called Babies, Just Babies, and it'll just be babies. All right.
Okay.
Bye, hon.
No, I put earplugs in. I can't hear anything she says, and I just say, yeah. No, it works great.
Good work.
Babies, just babies. It folds before he can get to the White House to take advantage of.
Can I come in and take some pictures of your baby?
So the whole idea is to meet FDR, and he doesn't.
Okay.
In 1935, circulation of all of his magazines, he's got a bunch, is 7 million. It's more than Hearst.
Wow.
He has a fortune of $30 million.
Wow.
And he announces he is now going to run for president as a Republican.
Let's go. Let's go, buddy.
But here's the problem.
What?
It's the 30s. It's the middle of the Depression.
Doesn't matter.
No one wants a rich guy to run for, like this kind of rich guy to run for.
Right.
Office. He makes
unlike
speeches. He makes speeches attacking government spending, which he said, quote, has mortgaged our babies, our children, our children's children's future.
The idea that you're opposed to having a rich guy be president is probably a pretty good prerequisite to all politics.
The other guy was a rich guy.
I know, but in general, it's like we as a citizenship, we should just be like, we don't want that.
No, at all.
Because any rich guy most likely has gotten there at some point by taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
And there you go.
So he makes speeches attaching government spending. He's very anti-immigration, saying that all immigrants should be shipped home. He's very upset about the, quote, yellow peril of the Chinese. He said California has 250,000 armed Japanese.
Jesus Christ. It's basically Japan.
I mean, there's probably not even that many Californians there.
Yeah.
He goes to the GOP convention, but he stays in a hotel room the whole time, listening to it on the radio because he expects the convention to come to a loggerhead and they can't pick someone. And then they would turn to him and ring him up and say, Bernarr, will you save our party?
I'm staying across the street.
That doesn't happen. In 1940, he runs for the Senate in Florida as a Democrat. All 6 candidates are Democrats. He comes in third with 16%. In 1941, minority stockholders accuse Bernarr of using company funds to finance his 2 campaigns. And he is forced to sell his holdings and step down as president of his publishing company.
Wow.
But after a few years go by, he brings back physical culture because after he left, it was turned into a women's magazine and then just run into the ground.
Sure.
Over the ensuing years, he is written about in Newsweek and Time. Time called him Body Love.
What the take time? What? Get it together, Time.
He celebrated his 75th birthday by standing on his head for photographers.
This is not okay. Babies, just babies.
In 1949 and 81, he starts skydiving each year on his birthday. It's all for publicity. Why else would you do that? Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
He said his wife had humiliated him by putting on weight and he left her.
Oh my God. Just leave then.
Jesus Christ. And then he marries a 42-year-old woman, but she very quickly has the marriage annulled.
Oh, okay.
He tries to run for mayor of New York City in 1935, but he was not allowed on the ballot. He's mostly seen as a joke now. Everyone just thinks he's a joke.
What do you think that's attributed to?
I don't know.
Living a life that seems like basically a joke?
Bernarr Macfadden died in 1955 from jaundice aggravated by a 3-day fast. His estate was now worth nothing. His confession-style magazines, however, durable. Today, Macfadden Publications sells about 2,500,000 of them a year. Most of them, however, are sex stories.
Wow. What? He's still with us?
Well, in
magazine form.
In magazine form, yeah. He's penthouse. He's penthouse.
Right.
Letters or whatever. Those.
Yeah,
that kind of
right.
shit. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Sources, Mental Flaws, AmericanHeritage.com, The True Story of Bernarr Macfadden, Esquire.com.
That was a ride, bud.
Strange Tale, Historic Fitness Guru Bernarr Macfadden, Money.com, Wackiest Millionaire Ever, runs for president, and Mark Adams, Mr. America, How Muscular Millionaire Bernarr Macfadden Transformed the Nation Through Sex, Salad, and the Ultimate Starvation Diet.
That is crazy. That is a crazy guy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Jesus
Indeed.
Christ.
It's very crazy. I hope you're happy.
I'm not happy, but I'm not unhappy.
No. Be unhappy.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right,
Okie
carry
dokie.
on.
Bye.
Say a prayer for...
I don't know.